My name is Bai Minor, Kenya and viewers around the world. Welcome to Newswave, your essential source for the latest news affecting our nation. Tonight we focus on the urgent social and political issues shaping Kenyans' present and future. From the rising cost of living that is pitting neighbor against neighbor to the digital war being fought over personal health data. This is Newswave by Minor. Our leading story tonight is the cost of simply living. Economic challenges continue to deepen divisions across Kenya's social landscape. Many Kenyans are crying out over rising costs, unemployment, and crushing inequality. The cost of fuel, the cost of flour, it is all becoming unaffordable. But how far has this polarization widened? Has the economic pain broken the social contract? Let's hear from the reporter.
Human rights violations don't always shout. Sometimes they whisper through long queues in public hospitals, delayed justice in courtrooms, or communities ignored by the systems meant to protect them.
Although access to ICT has led to the creation of a significant number of jobs, the returns remain low compared to the number of entrants to the labor market. This means that ICT for job creation remains necessary but not sufficient to address youth unemployment in Kenya.
Hii ndio siku yangu ya 5 kukuja. Nimekuja kwa hii wiki yote but sijafanikiwa. Hata leo nilikuwa nimekuja tu nijaribu nione kama watanichukua but sijaingia. Sasa naona sasa sina otherwise ila tu nirudi tu kwa nyumba.
Tunakuja hapa kutafuta kazi lakini unaweza bahatika ama ukose. Lakini for now hakuna kubahatika.
Kutoka hapa saa 3:30 nikienda kwa nyumba. Kaa tu hapa hata nikipigia marafiki zangu mwenye ako na kibarua anipe. Jana nilikuja nikapata mwenye ako na kibarua akanipea kufua. Kasema hata kama kuna mvua wacha tu niende nijikaze juu natafutia tu manze watoto. Kumekuwa tu kungumu hata huyo wa junior secondary kuingia shule.
But this is about really identifying those 15 early stage companies, those innovations, where the concept needs to be proved and then it can be rolled out. It's catalytic. It's not the Kenya Jobs Fund, it's the Kenya Catalytic Jobs Fund. So what's that innovation? What's that reform that will happen that takes it from just a normal growth to something really quite special?
When the state steps back, citizens may pay the price.
Hadi kesho nitaendelea tu, nitaenda bado kujaribu. Na sasa nasikia tu wanachukuanga tu watu kidogo.
So it's a 5 million fund. Each firm will get about 100,000 pounds. It is in technical assistance.
Nimejaribu kutafuta kazi. Nimetembea Nairobi, nimejaribu kuapply za online lakini bado sijapata. Nikijaribu kutembea kwa maofisi naambiwa hakuna vacancy. Niache karatasi zangu wakipata opportunity watanipikia.
So it's a 5 million fund. Each firm will get about 100,000 pounds. It is in technical assistance.
Katika kutembea kwangu kutafuta kazi niliingia kwa kampuni fulani. Nikafanya kwa siku 2, walikuwa wanalipa kila siku. Alafu kuendea pesa nikapewa 40 bob kwa siku 2. Ikabidi sasa wakanivunja moyo kabisa. Ikabidi nimerudi Kisii nilishe ng'ombe kidogo.
This is Late Commander reporting for Newswave.
Joining us now to explain the roots and the implications of this economic stress is our expert, a leading sociologist and economist.
My name is Jimmy Simiu. I'm a socio-economist with the Spark Analytica. I thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us.
And I'm looking forward to have this conversation with you.
Many feel like the middle class is being completely squeezed out of existence, leaving only the very rich and the very poor. Is this economic pain now an engineered system of social polarization? And what are the long-term dangers of a country where the majority cannot afford basic goods?
It is a tough economic situation considering most people cannot afford to have one meal in a single day. We saw you the other day in the news when they showed the number of people earning above 100,000 in a country as big as ours was less than 3%, which means basically the number of people, the poor, the space between the rich and the poor is very high, and it will continue going high until the government makes the changes that are needed.
Going on, the government often uses subsidies to try and cushion the shock, but this rarely lasts. What concrete structural policy beyond temporary subsidies can the government implement today to stabilize the cost of living and they genuinely protect the income of the average Kenyan worker?
Yes, the only way for the government to kill and then stop giving a lot of subsidies is to stop the inflation. Once we stop the inflation, that we won't need to cushion the people with subsidies. Thank you.
When people are hungry, they get angry. How close are we to seeing this economic despair translate into sustained social unrest and political instability across major cities and rural areas?
Yeah, we saw this earlier in the year. People are angry, and when people are angry, they will always go to the streets. It's just a thin line between love and hate, and people love their government, but they also hate that it is pushing them to do what they don't want to do. So the government has to be very careful, because we will see unrest very soon.
From the pain in our pockets, we move to the violation of our privacy. MTIBA, Kenya's popular mobile health platform, recently faced a massive cybersecurity breach, a 2.15 terabyte dump, exposing sensitive health records of nearly 5 million users by hackers named Kazu. Tonight we ask, are Kenyans' data safe on MTIBA? What does this mean for privacy and security in the digital age when your illness is now public information? Let's hear from our reporter.
The MTIBA data breach has scared millions of Kenyans. Private health information is now in the wrong hands. So how safe is our personal data online? I'm David Kibet, reporting for Newswave.
Joining us now is a leading cybersecurity specialist to discuss the implications of this monumental breach. It is terrifying for millions of Kenyans. Let's dive straight into it. Does this breach expose a catastrophic failure by both MTIBA and the Data Protection Commission to enforce minimum standards?
When you speak of a breach, now I'm thinking data was stolen. So when you speak of MTIBA, I think MTIBA is something to do with insurance. Insurance have a lot of data for the citizen, and when you add into data protection laws, so I think that's a margin thing where MTIBA should also work with the data protection agencies and the apps to provide proper insurance. And when you speak on other breaches, the breaches now depend also, number one, is on the institution offering the data to the citizen, rather institution offering the services to the citizens that has the data of the people. So now MTIBA itself is the one who is supposed to be able to secure that system. I don't think that system is majorly an issue of the data protection side, but that's a system issue of MTIBA. And MTIBA should have a proper cybersecurity framework to be able to manage that.
Let me ask, if my sensitive health records, my history, my treatments, are now possibly on the dark web. What is the single most important immediate step an affected user must take to mitigate identity theft or fraud?
Identity theft and fraud. Number one, if you know that your data is stolen somewhere, it is somewhere in the dark web, number one, you should report to the proper agencies so that they should know that at any time, at any place, if your data is being asked for other used in one or two areas and you're not specifically there, you can know that, okay, this is a breach. So it enforces you now to be physically present in any area or other institution of health that you're going to be in. So, but the main thing is, number one, if your data is stolen and it is somewhere in the dark web, we report it, and if there is a place where they can change some specific entities of the data, they can do that so that to protect you in two areas.
Kenya's entire economic future is digital. What is the critical policy or technology upgrade the government must immediately demand of all companies holding sensitive public data to prevent the next bigger breach?
I would say we have a vision, we call it Vision 2030. I'm not sure you're going to get to that particular vision of having a fully digitized system in the country, but I usually say that in every company, every institution that wishes to move fully to the digital field, they should do so with the inclination that they should also have a security system. And whenever you move into that, you know that they're going to get so many breaches and so many attacks, because now people are shifting from the physical kind of security to the cyber security kind of area. So for that, you should have frameworks to manage the security risks, you should have framework to govern the security risks, and you should have frameworks to manage the compliance of the system that you have.
We are now focusing on a growing humanitarian crisis right here in Nairobi. A continuous smear campaign is causing serious problems in communities. This is not just political arguing, it is being used as a tool to distract and harm people. We need to find out who is behind these attacks and understand how they are hurting the most vulnerable people in our city. Let's take a look.
Sukari, kila kitu kimepanda bei, ambapo hii effect hizi zote zinafikia yule mwananchi wa huku chini, kwa sababu wananchi wanaojiweza hawezi kabiliana na hili tatizo hili la njaa. Kwa hiyo vijana wengi wamejitokeza, na vijana wengi wamesema sahi hawapigi kura kwa sababu wana njaa, na wanasema hata wakipiga kura viongozi hakuna vile wanavyotetea wananchi.
Na sisi tunasema ya kwamba kama serikali ya Kenya ina jukumu la kuhakikisha ya kwamba kila mwananchi.
Human rights violations don't always shout. Sometimes they whisper through long queues in public hospitals, delayed justice in courtrooms, or communities ignored by the systems meant to protect them. When the state steps back, citizens may pay the price. This is Lt. Commander reporting for Newswheel.
We now speak with human rights advocate for insights. I'd like to ask you some brief questions. How can misinformation campaigns destabilize communities and humanitarian efforts?
Misinformation campaigns destabilize communities by eroding trust in aid organizations, inciting violence against workers, and blocking humanitarian access through false narratives. They amplify divisions, as seen in Kenya's Gen Z protest, where state-sponsored trolls on X spread smears against activities, silencing dissent and fostering fear. This harms humanitarian efforts by turning locals against NGOs and jeopardizing funding.
What support is critical for those affected?
Victims need digital safety training, fact-checking, resources, and psychological counseling to counter trauma from harassment and threats. Community initiatives joint advocacy for NGOs and collaboration with platforms build resilience and restore trust in Kenya. Civil society equips activists with these tools amid rising online attacks.
What steps should platforms like X, the formerly Twitter, take in Kenya to stop the rapid spread of harmful and false information that targets specific groups or neighborhoods?
X must enforce policies against organized trolling and algorithm manipulation, swiftly removing coordinated smear campaigns targeting groups as they failed during Kenya's 2024-2025 protest. Partner with NCIC, provide transparency on content moderation and support local fact checkers per national guidelines, enable robust reporting and collaborate on digital literacy to curb rapid spread.
Finally tonight, masked attackers stormed the office of Kenya's human rights defenders, raising fears of activists, safety and our freedom of expression. Who are they and who sent them? Let's hear from our reporter.
Human rights defenders in Kenya are under attack. Mass groups are targeting offices and trying to silence activists. Tonight, we look at what this means for freedom.
We are joined by a renowned constitutional lawyer and human rights leader. Let's start with the basics. When masked goons target human rights offices, they are targeting the public rights to know and speak. Our viewers need to know the gravity of this. Question: when human rights defenders are targeted in this manner, is the government failing in its primary duty to protect its citizens and uphold the freedom of expression and association guaranteed in the 2010 Constitution?
Yes, this fails as when the constitutional is attacked, and this is supposed to be acted on immediately. People are able to see what is happening. That means the constitutional is failing its support, it's failing its duty. So this is because it's failing its duty for people to show their freedom of expression and to be able to stand strong in what they believe in.
In a bid to end the cycle of impunity, what single legal or procedural form should the DPP and the Inspector General adopt to ensure fast, transparent investigation into attacks on activists?
First of all, they should set very strict timelines which will enable us to require the DPP to do their research and to be able to know and give the police a way to give the public information on what is going on.
How should the government respond to ensure the protection of human rights defenders?
So what the human rights defenders, we should condemn all the attacks. We're able to condemn all the attacks, and whoever is responsible for this should be able to be put down and put into treason and asked questions on the above. And to be responsible without a delay, where we'll be able to see what is going on.
Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate your engagement on these critical issues. We asked, you talked to us tonight, and you responded in force. Here are a few of the comments trending under the hashtag NewsKE tonight. It is not inflation, it's betrayal. I can't afford rent, but the politicians are budgeting for new jets. Hashtag Punda Amechoka. Every day is a battle to balance sales. The cost of living is killing small businesses. Who speaks for us? Hashtag bottoms up pain. If we can't speak up without being attacked, the democracy is dead. Stop silencing us. Who is paying the goons? Hashtag Undersage KE. Powerful words reflecting the deep concerns felt across the country. I am Bai Minor. From all of us here at Newswave, stay informed and empowered. Good night.